What a way to kick it off for our 10th season on Toyota Monday Night Football with two teams who have given us so many highlights over the past decade. Hi everybody, Warren Smith, Greg Alexander, Braithen Astor and Andy Raymond to bring you all the action live and ad-free from Amy Park in Melbourne. And Brandy, we've come to expect the unexpected when it's the Storm and the Dragons.
No, we only have to go back to that 2014 game, and it was one of the games of the season where the Melbourne Storm got them after the full-time siren. But the rivalry started back in '99, the second year of the Melbourne Storm's existence. Whenever you have two sides playing in a grand final, well, that rivalry will just continue. So this is a huge match for both teams. It always has been. In particular, it's a huge match and challenge for the Dragons, who come down here to Amy Park. Their record isn't good. I think it's 1999 was their last win in Melbourne, and that was at the old Olympic Park. And they've got a challenge in front of them. What makes it tougher is that Billy Slater returns for this clash as Widdop leads them, well, up the race here at Amy Park.
The Storm haven't been beaten in round one in 11 seasons. It's quite a record that the Dragons have to overcome. Arriving here to Amy Park tonight, Gareth Widdop and Benji Marshall, their two key playmakers, will lead them from the front again. The try assist, no doubt, this season, as they did comprehensively in 2015. If it didn't happen through Marshall and Widdop, quite frankly, for the Dragons last year, it basically didn't happen.
And sides just can't afford that. And Paul McGregor knew it. He knew it in 2014 when he played Adam Quinlan at fullback. But he had to play Dugan at fullback last year. He'll be good in the centres. He'll be good in the centres, Josh Dugan. And we'll see what sort of ball player or what Kurt Mann can offer. Of course, the former Melbourne Stormer who played left centre for them last year. Cameron Smith chalked up 300 games last year. And the man behind him, well, it was a disappointing year in terms of injuries, only 7 games, but back tonight.
Melbourne bowed out in the preliminary final right here against the North Queensland Cowboys last year. Billy Slater wasn't on deck for that game, but he's back tonight, and no doubt their attack, which finished ranked 8th at the end of last season, will be better this season if he can stay on the field, and the likes of Jesse Bromwich and others, Jordan McLean included, can do the job up front.
Isn't it a great battle in the middle of the field tonight with Russell Packer, the new signing for the Dragons, up front with Lisa Naumau, who was a very underrated, had a good season for the Dragons last year, up against those two, Jordan McLean and Jesse Bromwich, the best front rower in the game. Cooper Cronk will continue to steer them around the park and offer opportunities to his outside men.
The game ball is being delivered by the one and only, the great Ian Molly Meldrum. He is the patron saint, I guess you could say, of the Melbourne Storm. He's a mad St Kilda fan and a long-time Melbourne Storm fan as well. He delivers the game ball. He's had some ill health in recent times as well. It's great to see him back on deck, and he wouldn't miss this game for the world. Is he going to be dancing like that at full time?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. If Molly's going to be dancing, he might have to wait until the 80th minute.
If you're our vintage, Brandy, Molly's an absolute legend, isn't he? Sunday nights, countdown. The countdown is on for our 10th season of Toyota Monday Night Football. Cameron Smith supplies the kickoff. The Dragons to get first use of it. It's the former Stormer himself, Gareth Widdop, who makes the catch, and he gives it to Leeson Armour to bring it back just short of the 20. Rain from dummy half. Russell Packer getting his first touch back in the NRL proper in 2 seasons. What a return it is for him tonight. Mike Cooper in this starting side. Their form in the trials was good. Big victory over the Warriors in Nelson. While the Storm's pre-season form is rather mixed, they were below par, especially at Belmore Sports Ground against the Bulldogs a couple of weeks ago. A disappointing effort there. Craig Bellamy's looking for a big improvement tonight, especially with their hand. Widdop's clearing kick. Go down to Slater, and he'll get quite a cheer as well as he brings it back to link up with young Tonamapia, the man who scored that famous try after the bell right here. 2 seasons to go to deny the Dragons a victory. Corabetti playing. Slater gets the dummy half. And one final fitness test on that shoulder yesterday afternoon in the captain's run. Contact was okay as Green goes across the Munster, the player who was so good filling in for Slater in 2015. Green will play it. Smith comes across to Bromwich. Take it back into Dragons territory. He's an offload machine, and this time they only just lock him up. Smith goes back to Cooper Cronk. Kick which will bounce down to Jason Nightingale, playing on this left-hand side of the field, giving up the right wing position to Ewan Aitken.
He backtracked quickly there, Jason Nightingale, and was just beaten by the bounce. It kicked on and made his job a little harder to get back into the field of play. Nice touch from Cronk.
Tim Laffey picked up here, the former Bulldog. The fixture on this left-hand side of the field for the Dragons in 2016. Nightingale again. Play it for Rain. Goes to Cooper. He had Packer pushing up in support off that hip. But he just takes it to ground just inside their own 40. A chance to kick from inside the red stripe for Marshall, who does exactly that. But he'll pick out Billy Slater on the full. And again, the crowd finds its voice as he brings it back to be stopped in a good tackle there by Rain and also Packer.
He's been waiting for that for a long time, hasn't he, Billy? Round 7 last year. His first run back into the defence. He looked as sharp as ever.
Here's Bromwich out the back to Cronk. Slater there on the sweep line. We've seen that so many years now as Chambers will play it 40 out from the Dragons line. It goes back to Proctor. Runs towards Armour and also Packer. 3 gone, no scorers yet between the Storm and the Dragons as Cooper puts it in the air. Slater chasing through. Man couldn't hang on to it. There's going to be a penalty to the Dragons.
Well, he had someone in his road, Billy Slater, and he didn't muck around about it. Just shoved them out of the road. The cross kick from Cronk down that short side. Kurt Mann made a meal of it. Oh. Is it Gareth Widdop?
It was the shove from Slater on Widdop, which forced Widdop into the legs of Kurt Mann, and hence the penalty. The correct one at that. Here is Leeson Armour. Look at the last time that Kurt Mann gets tested out, though. The Storm tonight. Craig Bellamy said during the week that he wanted to keep Kurt Mann. You've got Billy Slater and Cameron Munster in front of the queue as far as the fullback position goes, and Mann wants to be a fullback, and Bellamy believes that fullback is his best position. He said you'll also see lots of that. Mann pushing up in behind Mitch Rain as they work it down into an attacking position. Here is Widdop. Marshall trying to get to the outside of Green, back on the inside. It's Dugan, who was wrapped up very well by Proctor and also Smith. They've got one more. Widdop, kick it across the field. Nightingale, Chambers trying to do the blocking. Tomalapia puts it down. Laffey has it for St George Illawarra, and they're only 5 metres out with a new set of 6. Here's Widdop. There's it back underneath for Leeson Armour, and they can set themselves. Their attack was their Achilles heel last season, the Dragons. They finished 15th of 16 teams. Only the Panthers scored fewer points last season. You can show what they've got right here. Here's Rain. Comes to Widdop. Goes to Mann. Coming out quickly was Tomalapia. He left the gap. Nightingale went past Chambers, and the Dragons score first tonight.
It was a good set leading up to the penalty, or the regain of possession, where they got a 6 to go call. The spill by Tomalapia. He's had an ordinary couple of minutes. Look at him come out of the line here to no one. You don't give Jason Nightingale that sort of room. Will Chambers had to make the tackle going sideways, and Nightingale in that sort of situation, he's so awkward to bring to ground, and he's a great man to get the ball across the stripe in a difficult position. But there it is. Tomalapia caught hopelessly out of position there.
They only scored 2 tries against the Melbourne Storm in the 2 games they played. Cogra, one in Napier in round 20 last year. They really struggled against the Melbourne Storm's defence, which admittedly was one of the better defending units in the league. But immediate dividends here tonight. That was curious to see that real miscommunication on that right edge between Chambers and Tonomapia. Words of advice from Cameron Smith were pretty straightforward, you'd imagine, given what we just saw.
It just made Gareth Widdop's mind up for him. He didn't have to do too much. As that man looks to pilot this one across from the touchline.
Widdop kicked it almost 78% last season. This one will hook away to the left-hand side, but a promising opening by the Dragons, Braith.
Yeah, great start from the Dragons. Poor read from Tonomapia, but I thought Kurt Mann, we spoke about the game or his impact he has today. What about the pass from Kurt Mann to hit Nightingale on the chest? Now, he's played centres, obviously, for the Melbourne Storm, untested at fullback, but what a great start for him. Beautiful pass, good execution, coming to the game early, good start for the Dragons.
Cameron Smith will get us back underway. Subdued Amy Park suddenly off the back of that. A poor read in defence, which cost Melbourne. The Dragons on top. It's Lisa Armel once again who will bring it out to Tohu Harris. We'll wait and see exactly how the interchange works tonight for both Paul McGregor and Craig Bellamy. What have you made so far of the reduced interchange?
Well, I think it's been a real challenge for the clubs because of the heat. I think mostly they've handled it well. It certainly puts pressure on the coaches when they get an injury to a man that they've expected to play 80 minutes. Like Jordan Kahu against the Eels, off, and they had to move a back row under. So that does put some pressure on the coaches and their changes.
DeBellin playing it. Rain comes back to the middle. Good hands between Packer and Armel. Only 35 metres out from the Melbourne line. Last play, Cameron Smith coming out of the line pretty quickly there. More pressure on Tonomapia. He goes up, leaves the ground this time, and he comes down with it. Will Matthews driving him backwards, almost back into the in-goal area. Cronk showing it. There was nobody to dummy to on that side, and luckily for Melbourne, they get a penalty.
Right, take a look here.
Well, that's one miss and one catch now. Slater with the quick tap. No. But that wouldn't be the last time I'd be kicking to young Tonomapia. You would keep throwing it up in the air around that try line area.
To finish the thought on the interchange, speaking to Craig Bellamy during the lead up to this game, he was hoping to get through the first half only using 2 changes. He said that might blow out to 4 depending on how his players and perhaps some more minutes, the likes of Kevin Proctor, Jordan McLean and also Jesse Bromwich. Here's for Nukin. Delayed pass there from McLean. Well, I don't think he was expecting it given how long Nukin hung on to it for. And
okay, scrum clock's
a
on.
Simple error, and that's indicative of what was happening in the pre-season for the Storm.
Well, he should have been ready for it. He had a good grab at it. Finucane was certainly expecting Jordan McLean to be ready for it. Just talking about the interchange and the effects of it over the first round so far, there's no doubt that this is perfect rugby league weather.
These are the most comfortable conditions we've had the entire 5 days of round 1. It's been very warm in Sydney, and this is cool by recent standards for both these clubs. Matthews poking his nose through the line. A good carry right there to be stopped by Cronk and also Munster. Cooper, little tip on there for Packer. Done that well so far. Goes to Leeson Armel. And he'll play it eventually just inside the Storm 30. Right. And Marshall comes across to Dugan. Going nowhere though, the tackle of Will Chambers. They'll switch to Chambers and Munster for the moment. A kick towards the upright. Widdop was there.
Go on,
Slater
drop
came
out.
again off cross touch to take it out of play.
Yeah, dangerous situation there and a nice kick. The
on
Dragons continue the roll, and they're on top of the Melbourne Storm at the moment.
I have a knock on
Perfectly positioned kick. Widdop.
Okay.
We've called that a knockback. Slater has to knock it dead.
Stay back. Hold here.
Well, Munster and Chambers have swapped again.
That was interesting, that defensive set. They'd swapped sides, but waiting for the goal line dropout to be taken. They swapped back again, so Chambers back on his natural right side. And Munster back over there on the left.
I thought they might have put Munster out to the side of young Tonomapia to help him with the high ball.
Might have been the case. Wait and see if they go to the high ball again here as Cooper runs towards Harris and also Smith. Just outside the Melbourne 10, Rain. Now the first option going towards them, taking some stopping as well. McLean, Slater, and also Finucane there to make the tackle. Here's Widdop rubbering this time. Slater coming up with it, lost it, had to bat it out of play. And we mentioned in the pre-game show, Brandy, that these two teams are the top two as far as goal line dropouts forced in 2015.
Yeah, well, Marshall and Widdop are masters at it. Slater, he realised that there was a bit of space for him there to get back into the in-goal, and I think he just moved too quickly and didn't have a good grip on the football. Back-to-back repeat sets now. And the Melbourne Storm under the pump with the Dragons, 7 from 7.
Melbourne going with a short one. Cronk was there and then knocked it on. Oh, they had a golden chance to get out of jail right there.
You pack scrum.
And just a Dragons player perhaps flashing through the vision of Cooper Cronk might have just put him off.
Did someone get an arm to Cronk? That's a huge play by Cameron Smith. 12 minutes into the game. Mitch Rain was coming back. Might have just pulled that left arm away as Cronk thought he had the ball in his hands.
Push in.
Melbourne 3 of 6 sets completed so far, perhaps an indication there. They were under the pump and wanted to try and get possession back as quickly and cheaply as they possibly could. Instead, they're under pressure on their own line once again. Slater coming in around the legs to make sure that they get Mike Cooper to ground. Rain, man, cut out ball. Dugan. He's a big body, 100 kilos, maybe a couple more even these days. Aitken fires it to Marshall. Good hands at first receiver. Shows it. Opens some space up. Going into Widdop. Here's Laffey. Nightingale. Plenty of purple jumpers there in front of him. They swamped across from the inside to get him. Play 5. Widdop. It's back to Lisa Narmau again. Take it forward for a settler. They've got one more play. Marshall at first receiver on the right. Widdop waiting back on the left. Marshall will switch on the run around. Widdop to Marshall. Standing out the back to Widdop. Last tackle. Still alive. Back on the inside to Laffey. It comes back to Marshall. He dived across. The Dragons are in again.
We have tackle 6. Have a try. Can we review an instruction in the lead up, please?
And it looked like they'd hung on the Melbourne Storm. That was the third set the Dragons had on their try line. It was the last play of the third set. We're just checking an obstruction.
Any obstruction on the Melbourne defence.
Benji was with the runaround with his 5'8". He's on the outside. Proctor goes backwards with Will Matthews, an offload.
So we've cleared the obstruction element, now going through to review the rest of the play.
From Benji, back to Widdop, back to Laffey. Somehow, well, he drops that ball out the back, and Benji these days is not the 85 kilo 5'8" from the West
Let's see how the ball
Tigers.
comes out of the Dragons here and ensure that it goes backwards.
I'm just going to check. We heard the video referee say, make sure it goes backwards. Doesn't come out of Laffey's hands and into Proctor, does
Dragons have possession at this point. And loses the ball backwards, so still play on.
That's going to be good as long as Benji's been able to get the ball down, and certainly,
And
there's
camera
not a
5
doubt.
in the bottom left shows that he grounds the ball. Have a decision, we're going to the board.
Benji involved a couple of times.
Green lights for the Dragons. Benji Marshall and Tim Laffey combining on this left edge of the field. It's 8 points to 0. He was an important part of it. But that man goes across the line, playing with still the effects of a broken finger suffered a couple of weeks ago in that trial game against the Warriors in Nelson. Staying alive with the ball there, found Gareth Widdop, and you just love the fact off the run around they created some numbers, gave a different look to the Melbourne Storm right edge. It produced some points.
Yeah, and I guess confidence-wise, with that much football at this end of the field, they needed to come up with something. They needed to walk away with some points, and Benji's effort was good enough.
This one, hooking back, is good. 10-0. The Dragons over the Storm. Paul McGregor very confidently watching on from up high. Strike rate of 83 tries in his career. Just over a third of a try per game. He scores 1 every 3 games on average, and already 10 points to the good. The Dragons have scored more points against Melbourne than they did for the entire 2 meetings last season. Cameron Smith back underway. They were so close to getting out of jail, weren't they, with that short goal to drop out. Cooper Cronk couldn't field it. And as a result, the Dragons go in, but they give Melbourne a chance to hit straight back with an error here on play 1. Smith comes across the Cronk. Here's Proctor. Laffey jamming in. Make the tackle. They're 5 metres out, but a full set to work with. Smith for Cronk, who had to wait for the pass. Green goes to Slater. Over the top. Corabetti! Nobody in front of him. They went from sideline to sideline. It was too easy for Melbourne.
Now Billy Slater's back. He's back all right. What a ball it was from the Melbourne Storm fullback in his return game out to Marika Corabetti. Hit him on the chest. He didn't have to deviate or hesitate in his run to the line. Set play, the first time they've been down this end. Slater just with a little jink, just to hold up the defence momentarily and then fire a bullet out to his winger. Just skips on the outside. Dugan and the defence compressed. Dugan out wide. Outside, Ewan Aitken. And a clear run to the line for Corabetti.
It was just through the hands, and real breakdown there for the Dragons on this right-hand side. And Marika Corabetti in game number 50 in the NRL. It's quite a strike rate he has, 35 tries in those 50 games. He was pumped for this opening to the new season, and happy that the Storm are on the board.
Well, because it is all tilted against the Storm at the moment. They've made 50 extra tackles. The Dragons had got through 5 extra sets until that mistake from Jason Nightingale. And what a let-off for the Dragons. They get to 10-0. They receive the kickoff. They drop it. The Storm come up with points a couple of tackles later.
Very easily at that. Cameron Smith kicked it almost like Gareth Widdop. 78% in 2015. When he's on, he strikes them as well as anybody. To notch up 1,800 points in the NRL. It slides across the face of the uprights, but a good hit back by Melbourne, Braith.
A great hit back by Melbourne. I spoke about Kurt Manley's pass to Nightingale to set up that try. Well, Slater, whatever you can do, I can do better. That pass was absolutely brilliant. Great start for him. Inclusion, gets that ball right on the chest of Corabetti. You can't do any better than that.
He is back, and so are the big three, reunited in 2016 as Melbourne trail by a converted try. There's the try scorer. He's away. Only Coleman in front of him. He goes to the fullback, gives it to after. And he can do that as quick as you can blink. Marika Korobetti picks up 50 metres off the kick return.
Oh, what a run by him. His next touch after scoring a try is an absolute cracker and gets the Storm on the attack.
Here's Cronk. Goes behind Cronk to Slater. Chambers back on the inside for Slater. It's still there. Play on is the call. It didn't come off a drag and back to Laffey. He wasn't offside and they have it there. 20 short of the halfway line, but it's alarming the space that Melbourne are creating on the edges.
Yeah, quick shift down this right side. Will Chambers was into space. He saw Slater back on the inside, but Widdop did a great job just to cover him. Here's the run from Korobetti. Ewan Aitken came up with a miss, as did Benji Marshall.
It wasn't a straight line off the kickoff, but the Dragons presented to Korobetti, and boy, he made them pay. Here's Widdop. He'll put it in the air. Slater is out there on the right wing at the moment. Tonomapia at the fullback role. He's got a big catch and gets a penalty for being tackled in mid-air.
Well, he might have been a bit shaky to start the game, but he's caught the last two well. He's done a good job with the last couple. A very shaky start to the game with his defensive read and a drop bomb, but you'd be feeling much better about that. That was a bit strange with Widdop kicking on the fourth.
Even more so with Slater out on the right wing, just catching his breath. Tonomapia being back there at fullback. You mentioned it's a cooler night than what the rest of the players have had to endure over the weekend. Might be a good thing for the Dragons. Leeson Armau, who makes this tackle, has already run for 100 metres. We've had only 20 minutes of game time. Here's Smith going to Slater, putting his imprint on this game already. Playing it back to Smith. Quick play to the ball. Cronk, first man play for Harris. Good tackle by Marshall with some help from Jack DeBellin. Strong stuff from the Dragons halfback. Here's Smith, rubbering in behind them. Mike Cooper wore a shot from Cameron Munster, who drilled him in the back.
Yeah, Blake Green and Cooper Cronk out to the right, along with Billy Slater, to make it or give the impression that they were kicking open. Cameron Smith back down the short side. Cooper had to dive backwards to save it, and the moment he turned to get back into the field of play, he was whacked. Munster over the top. Dragons turn to soak up some pressure.
We'll see how they go, but Melbourne have looked very good with the ball after a bit of a shabby start. It's Bromwich, just outside the Dragons' 30. Smith comes across to Finucane. So much history, so much drama over the years between the Storm and the Dragons. You get the feeling we're in for more here tonight. Harris runs towards DeBellin and also Marshall, and they accommodate him once again. Working nicely on that right-hand side. It's Green. Comes across, shows it to Finucane. Grabbed 8 tries in 2015, the Storm 5-8. Smith, good face ball. McLean, they've got their hands full there again. Ewan Aitken in a couple from the wing with his hands full against the big front rower. Goes back to Cronk. Last tackle. Kicks across the field. Tonomapia bats it back infield. Knocked down by Gareth Widdop. It'll be a knock-on against St George Illawarra.
Well, that's all Tonomapia could do, was knock it back in. The crossfield from Cooper Cronk. And it's a lottery after that.
Gather in, boys, the clock's still on.
Either Will Chambers or Tim Laffey could clean it up. Widdop came running in just in case it went into the hands of Chambers, and the error's been made. And how this game has turned around since the Jason Nightingale drop ball from the kickoff after they went to 10-0 up.
It's been all Melbourne from that point on. Here's Slater going wide. Korobetti to the speed! He's burnt them again!
try.
double.
Can we confirm that the ball is caught on the outside of the deploy runner?
They want to check to make sure there was no obstruction back on the inside, but they're just killing
So we need to
them on
confirm
the
there's no
fringes.
obstruction in the lead up to this try.
May be an issue with the bunker. Of course, there is a
We're looking to see where
backup.
the sweep runner takes possession of the ball.
The ground, Shane Hayne, the match overseer, has the
Catches
chance.
the ball beyond the inside shoulder. Now need to confirm the grounding.
Looks like we're all okay.
8 in the top right, which shows grounding of the ball. Have a decision going to the board.
Well, they look nothing wrong with it live, and after being reviewed by the bunker, they've confirmed it. Another great set play involving Billy Slater. Out to Marika Korobetti. Again, Josh Dugan finds himself on the wing up against a man that there's not many can match it with speed-wise, but Dugan and the Dragons not up quickly enough, and then not sliding hard enough. Off the back of the scrum, Green goes forward. Very compressed, the Dragons, and you've given Korobetti 20 metres to work with. 20 metres for a man that is one of the speedsters in the game. Dugan's just got no answer for that. Not many players would if you're going to give them that much room.
Ewan Aitken, better known as a centre, defending as a centre. Josh Dugan out there posted on the wing. It's a mismatch up against Marika Korobetti.
Well, he was the Storm's top try scorer last year with 16. He's already nabbed 2. And what a reversal of what was happening. The Dragons have barely touched the ball. They have barely touched the ball since the Nightingale drop.
This kick by Cameron Smith again slides across the face. It stays a 2-point lead for the Dragons after 25 minutes here at Amy Park. Don't forget, this week, our tremendous magazine shows during the week. Sterlo on the couch, Gordy and Jimmy Hooper will be there as well. That's Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. each and every week of this 2016 NRL season.
In fact, they've only had one set since the Korobetti first try in the 17th minute.
Some 8.5 minutes to go. A better job this time at stopping him as he ordered back once more from the kickoff. Changed tactics as far as the kick was concerned, the Dragons. Now Smith comes across Tim Glasby, who is out there now. Craig Bellamy going to his bench for the first time. Smith is going to pass to Fanuka, who slipped over. They went to Proctor instead. Heads up play, and he did well. Go back to the open side. Here's Bromwich out the back green, putting it down. It looked promising again, and they had numbers to that left-hand side. They were set. Green was just a simple error.
Well, it was a great kickoff set until Blake Green dropped the ball, because they had the Dragons under the pump again. Out the back to Green. He had 3 men outside him, which included Munster and Tohu Harris and Korobetti. Ewan Aitken was well back. Unfortunately for the Dragons, they put it down.
Billy, lock him in.
Right, head in, Mitch. Head in, Billy. 10 seconds. Head in. Right, chop off.
Tim Laffey standing one off the scrum. They'll go to the centre to work it forward. They get the ball back the first time in what seems like a long time. Dragons have completed 9 of 10. Those 10 sets of 6 came in a real burst. First 15 minutes in particular to begin the game. Ray, here's the Bellamy. Looking up towards Glasby. Proctor. Fanuka was also there around the legs. Cooper at the line, going to Witter. Marshall was out the back. The timing was all wrong. Tyson Frizzell fresh on the field. Wasn't named to play early in the week. He's been battling a back injury, which he picked up during the trials, but takes the place of Joel Thompson, who's out with a cork. That wasn't the first touch he was looking for.
Yeah, it's not what you want, is it? When you've been under the pump, you've had 2 sets with the ball since the 17th minute. That's 10 minutes. And you don't get to your kick. Frizzell overrunning it, Widdop not knowing whether he should give it to him or not.
It's 2 tries apiece. Conversion, the second of the Dragons tries, scored by Benji Marshall from Gareth Widdop. The difference at the moment. Tohu Harris will play it here for Smith. Goes to Finucane. Out the back to Slater once again. He straightens. Grabbed just by Widdop and Matthews. Proctor keeps it going. Proctor wrapping around to the short side. Comes to Chambers. Stop him inside of the 20. There's one more tackle in this set. Cronk kicking across the field. Perfect to Corabetti. He'll keep it alive. It goes back to Harris. He grubbers. Aitken does well to spin away from contact and keep it in the field of play for the Dragons.
Gee, they just don't let up, do they, to Melbourne Storm? What a great play from Cooper Cronk. A 40-metre kick across field to Corabetti. The Dragons up to the challenge, though. They had to fight hard to stop that. Just watch this Cronk kick. Just punched it across field into the hands of Corabetti. He gets out of the Dugan tackle, then is able to get it back on the inside.
Here is DeBellin working it back towards halfway line. Widdop again will kick. Goes towards Corabetti. Slater looking at him. There was a miscommunication there. They both had a little sneaky look at each other. In the end, the ball went backwards, and Corabetti will play it here inside his own 10. Just back to Cooper Cronk for a moment. He had that hip injury in the second half of 2015, and Craig Bellamy said because of that injury post-Origin, he wasn't able to practice his kicking as much as he normally would, and that showed towards the run to the finals especially, but he's put a lot of work in. He is fit and ready. I think we've seen already how sharp his kicking is.
Oh, well, that was a beauty, wasn't it, from him? He started the game well. There's no doubt he was inconvenienced by that injury, and that did slow all parts of his game down at the back end of last year.
He'll put it up, looking for a floater. Kurt Mann coming towards it. It's an awful kick to try and field. Luckily, it bounced backwards, straight to Josh Dugan. That was another very good kick by Cooper Cronk.
Well, it's just another good set from the Melbourne Storm. They just ask so many questions with their little set plays. They know exactly where they're going. They've got so many players in motion. It's a challenge for the defence every play.
Alafai coming in for a carry. Take it beyond the 30. Just over half an hour gone. We won in Prospect in our first meeting for Toyota. Monday Night Football for 2016. It's our last lap. 10th and final season of Monday Night Footy. And now here's Corabetti diving for it, going backwards. Trouble though, and played eventually for Billy Slater. Working from dummy half. He's got Cameron Munster back there with him. It's a real bonus. They lose Kurt Mann. They have Cameron Munster, that left edge in 2016. He showed how skillful and tough he was last season in the fullback role. They've got some attack, as we've already seen. Kenny Bromwich is out there.
It's a good shot from Will Matthews.
Cronk chipping for Slater. Looking for the bounce in front of Mann, who put it down. Perhaps a little look there at Billy. He knew exactly what was coming towards him. And a simple error once again will give the Storm a golden chance to take the lead.
Again, Slater timed his run perfectly off the Cronk kick. He was called onside. That increased the pressure on Kurt Mann. Not a happy moment for the former Melbourne Storm. Left centre, Kurt Mann. Billy gives him a little pat on the back.
Head in here, Kurt. Jack, get your head in. Right, shot clock off. All in.
Hold.
They win the scrum, and Green goes towards Marshall. There's a reaction from the fans on the far side of the field for the tackle. Play on is the call. Anamus Louis is out there around the legs of Cameron Munster, who'll play it here 10 metres out.
No, you went back in.
Tyson
You went back in, Tyson.
You went re-grip.
gets up saying what was the problem, but he had a second dig, according to the referee. And from right in front, trailing by 2. Cameron Smith says, let's just level things up and get back on even terms.
Thanks.
I wouldn't have been surprised if they had have taken a tap too. They've got the momentum going their way.
Well, perhaps they figure they've done so well off kickoffs, and Corabetti bringing it back big meters a couple of times, that taking the kickoff isn't such an issue for them. There's the reason for the penalty. Just that second grab under the arm and towards the ball of Tyson Frizzell was enough for Gavin Reynolds to say, Melbourne get the chance here to level things up. Young Tonomapia, I guess like Kurt Mann, has had a mixed opening to the game, but he's come back strong after that early dropped bomb and then the misread defensively. Nightingale's try back in the 6th minute. From right in front, Cameron Smith gets the flags in the air. We're locked up and 10 apiece. Let's go down to Andy.
And Warren, just some positive off-field news for the Melbourne Storm. All the corporate boxes are full here today, and they are gloating about that. But more importantly, they today reached 14,000 members, 2,000 up on last year. Well done to the Storm. More importantly, well done to those fans.
Stay back!
It's a tremendous place to come and watch rugby league. It's a perfect rectangular stadium. What we're led to believe will form the basis, the blueprint, what we'll see at Parramatta, minus perhaps the facade of that soccer ball, that eggshell look on the outside of the stadium. But this is a great rugby league venue.
Certainly is. Yeah, save a bit of money on the roof. Spend a little more in the boxes.
When you're there having a Chardonnay, perhaps. Oh, you changed. You have changed. Lasby playing a Smith out of dummy half, running a long way. Still going is Cameron Smith. Takes it across the halfway line. He'll play it for Slater's, pushing up as ever. Proctor on his outside. Chambers tries to go outside, then inside on Tim Laffey. They'll play it there, last tackle, 30 metres out. Cronk puts it in the air again. He's terrorising them. Aitken standing underneath it. He puts it down. It's another penalty. Against the Bellum being offside.
Okay, he's offside.
Oh, de Bellum. It's just a reflex action. The ball's there, you're on it. It happens so quickly. Either way, it was going to be a Melbourne Storm ball with the drop ball from the kick. Cronk in position, as always, to put up the high ball, and they've had some results from it now.
Well, if you took the 2 to level things up, you'll take the 2 to take the lead, undoubtedly, which is exactly what's happening. There it is again. They've got their issues under the high ball at the moment. Kurt Mann has put one down or a couple down. Ewan Aitken, he never looked comfortable despite Billy Slater catching his eyes, no doubt.
Well, it does make it difficult, doesn't it, when you've got a fullback that's come through. Billy navigated his way through that Dragons defence there to get a play at the ball, and he never really was doing that. He didn't want to touch it, but he was waving his arms around, making it as difficult as possible for Ewan Aitken. The ball might have just disappeared for a split second after Billy went through, which makes it very hard to catch.
Two and a half minutes out from the break, and Melbourne, after being down 10 points to nil, on the back of consecutive penalty goals, have a lead at 12 points to 10, and really They have dominated this game pretty much from the moment Benji Marshall scored back in the 15th minute.
That has turned things right around. So the Dragons are...
Right, Gav.
The Dragons have done well just to give up the lead by 2, I think, for the amount of time the Storm have dominated in this first half.
Jesse Bromwich, the player just outside the Storm's tent. Slater. Just the speed and the energy that he plays with just adds an extra dimension to this Melbourne Storm attack.
Well, it's been the speed and energy of the whole team from that moment, from that 15-minute mark, that has changed this game.
Proctor fighting back to his feet. Smith goes to Green. Now Glasgow straight and hard at DeBellin. DeBellin getting through his usual work rate. Which is up plenty of tackles, one of their leading tacklers in 2015 once again. And an awkward take, but this time he comes down with it. They needed that, the Dragons.
And so did Kurt Mann. And that was probably the toughest one that's been put up to him, because that was a Cooper Cronk floater that must have been so hard to judge where the ball was going to finish. Man had to dive forward to take it.
They'd like to get through this set error-free and just get to their kick. So the final 60 seconds of the first half is rain. That is for a dart from dummy half. It comes across the middle. A kick from inside the 40. Send Corabetti back to inside his own 10. They might have time for 2, if not 3 plays. Right here! Corabetti puts it down. Widdop has it, and it's the Dragons who'll have the last say.
That's your mark.
Slater gives away a penalty. And we'll see if the Dragons, like Melbourne, take the 2
Give a single, Gav.
to get back on even terms once again.
Well, you thought the Storm would take a lead into half-time, but the kick from Widdop went over the head of Corabetti, who headed back infield. It was a huge right foot step. And the shot from Tyson Frizzell up under the ball dislodged it. And if you're thinking about having money on Widdop kicking it or not, I would. In front, just on 30 out.
The average is almost 4 out of 5. You'd be so backing him in to level things up here. It was hard to split these two teams. We looked at them before the game. Big 3 back once again. Reunited for Melbourne. Widdop and Marshall picking up from where they left off last season. Dragging the Dragons into the finals. It's shaped as a close contest. Oh, Widdop has let us down. He misses to the right-hand side. It'll stay a Melbourne Storm lead at 12 points to 10. Paul McGregor good enough to join us as the teams come back out for the second half here at Amy Park in Melbourne. Our first Toyota Monday Night Football for 2016. Seems only fitting we kick it off with the Storm and the Dragons, given the pleasure, the drama, the excitement they have given us over the past seasons. And we've got a good one in prospect here once again. 2 tries apiece. A couple of penalty goals before half-time have given the Storm the lead, but no doubt there'll be a couple of twists and turns again in this one, as we've seen so often between these two teams. Storm man's back. So is Cameron Smith and the man behind him. So important already. Billy Slater, fresh up from a long spell, looks really good.
He looks fantastic. Threw the great ball to Marika Corabetti for his second try, involved in the first. He's been putting a lot of pressure on Kurt Mann at the back, off the back of the Cronk bombs and dinks over the defensive line. And it's just that anticipation and speed and all those things we spoke about prior to the game.
Bernie.
The best ball-playing fullback in the NRL.
Yep.
Okay, stay behind.
Gareth Widdop gets us back underway. Kickoff will go down to Slater. Jesse Bromwich it is. It will bring it back. It'll be stopped there by Dugan, Frizzell and also Aiken. See how the teams go with their interchanges in this second half. Tim Glasby with a carry. Takes it up towards the 40. Smith. On the inside there for Kenny Bromwich. Stopped underneath by Dynamis Louis. Matthews and Rain as well. Bromwich doing the tip-ons. Green, Harris, comes to Munster. He kicks, but puts some pressure here on man. Then trapped in the corner. And Corabetti makes the tackle. 5 out from the Dragons line. Munster jumps out from marker as well. And Aiken's going nowhere. Here's Marshall down the short side, pinching some metres. Finds him Aiken. Benji Marshall finds a way. He could find a way out of a Houdini trap, couldn't he?
What a terrific set to open proceedings for the second half for the Melbourne Storm. Some room to move down this left side. Cameron Munster putting a kick in, keeping the Dragons down that end of the field. Just on the 40 now as we play it on the last.
Rain coming back to Marshall. His kick is a lofted one under some attention there from Tohu Harris. Corabetti shows it to Slater. He fancies his chances of taking them on and breaking the line as he did a couple of times and scored 2 tries in that first half in game number 50 in his NRL career. Here's Harris. Know that he can go the full 80. I can see how Proctor fares on the other side. Craig Bellamy's plan was that Proctor would get to about the 50-minute mark and then get a breather. See if it stays that way. A penalty. And they're tough on that tonight. Second effort in the tackle, trying to slow down the play the ball. No thoughts of making a 2-point lead, a 4-point lead. They want more than that. They tap it and go. Kenny Bromwich
Don't drop that down on him.
stopped again. This time it's Rain making another second effort. Cameron Smith saying,
well, they've got a decision to make and they take the tap. Glasby and Kenny Bromwich. Enormous over the last minute and a half.
Smith, first man play, Bromwich. Good tackle though. Underneath him was Tyson Frizzell, made a big stop. Smith goes to Green, who had to go to a knee to take it. Here's Slater. Company's outside. Chambers, well handled though. Good numbers there for the Dragons between Laffey and also Nightingale. Tonomapia. Nothing doing there. We'll play it for Chambers. Goes to Cronk. Just dabs one in behind them, and Dynamis Louis, like a fullback, read it beautiful.
Well, the position was perfect for that little crossfield kick. They're all flat, ready for Cooper Cronk to put one across the field and just over the defence head. He didn't strike it how he wanted to, but very good combination doing that last set between Kenny Bromwich and Tim Glasby.
Move together.
DeBellin will play it for Rain, and a mix-up in the play the ball. Will Chambers was tangled up amongst it. Paul McGregor looks towards the big screen to see if there's a replay of that particular incident, to see how it played out. Paul, here's your chance.
Well, the man playing the ball, little shove there from Chambers. And that forced DeBellin back onto the football.
Should have been a penalty to the Dragons.
He stepped on the ball, but only because he was pushed by Chambers.
Got to go, the scrum's in.
No joy for Paul McGregor.
Wait. Let's go.
On his team, it gives Melbourne a chance they probably aren't entitled to.
Here.
Clock off,
Have it
clock
from
off.
the scrum, just outside the
clock off.
Dragons' 20. They scored one from this situation in the
Wait till the
first
two
half.
feet in.
Corabetti's second try. He just burnt Josh Dugan for speed, who was playing on the wing at the moment. Dugan one in with Aiken on the wing. Slater, Green, Corabetti again. looking for a hat trick. They slide across and Dugan makes the tackle. 12 metres out from the Dragons line. Munster. Munster Harris. Put a step as he goes towards Danamas Louis. Smith was there, but so was Rain. He hangs onto it as it goes to Kenny Bromwich. There's the brother Jesse. Taking some stopping. Widdop's got his hands full. He gets an offload away. Smith back to Kenny Bromwich. It's the Bromwich Brothers Incorporated.
Well, they can probably feel a little hard done by the Dragons because that shouldn't have been a Melbourne Storm scrum feed. It was an indiscretion by Will Chambers, but still, they need to aim up on their line, and they just weren't up to it. Bromwich and Jesse, who's so important for second face play for the Melbourne Storm, out to Cameron Smith, who quickly passed it to Kenny, whose involvement in the last 5 minutes has been enormous. He has been on the ball for the whole of this second half. That's a happy look too, the coach.
The coach who just re-signed for a further 2 seasons beyond 2016. Said he'll never say never again. He said he's too much good talent coming through. He's excited by the likes of Cameron Munster and others.
Have you seen a side look as dangerous as the Melbourne Storm from a scrum in ages? The Melbourne Storm are really threatening from scrum plays, and Corabetti almost pushing away from Ewan Aitken from that scrum. Jesse Bromwich had 5 on him when he offloaded.
He's a bit strong as Cameron Smith from right beside the uprights makes it an 8-point lead, 18-10. And in 4 nights' time, we'll be up there at Suncorp to see the Broncos and the Warriors go around. Before that, though, after this game, immediately following, it'll be Monday night with Matty Johns. Live from the Clive Churchill studio, as per usual. The boys are back, and who knows what Fletch and Hindy are up to in 2016. It is not to be missed.
I do miss the boys.
Unless you're the victim of one of their pranks, and there's every chance that may happen. Here's the try scorer, Kenny Bromwich. Playing for Cameron Smith. Green, nice shape there. Cronk goes to Proctor. Good tackle, Gareth Widdop. A bootlace job, but it had to be made. Cronk down the short side. Rudrick dancing over the head of Kurt Mann, and they come down, put some pressure on their former teammate. He runs towards Glasby, and also Green.
He was on his own then, Gareth Widdop, and it's a combination that really didn't work for the second part of last year, the Cronk-Proctor combination, which has been so dangerous over the years. It went to sleep last year. And that time, the presence of Billy Slater brought Tim Laffey up past the ball, and if it wasn't for the quality of the tackle from Widdop, well, Proctor was away.
Pass from Mitch Rain goes to ground. It was touched there by Tim Glasby. The Dragons will get another set of 6 here. Fortunately for Jack DeBellin, it came off his leg, off Glasby. It's a 0 tackle. Tackle 1 here for Louis to play it. 45 out from the Melbourne line. Dragons a big chance to hit back. Melbourne well and truly in the ascendancy now. Need something just to get themselves back into the contest. Here's Rain going to Marshall. Nice ball in front of Dugan. Little step on as he comes towards Munster. Green was there working hard from the inside to make the tackle. Marshall goes for line out the back for Rain, filling in, slipping over. Got up to Widdop though. Not much happening for Widdop as he goes towards Chambers. Proctor is there, determined to take him to ground. Couldn't do so. Nightingale fires a pass to Marshall. He just waits one in behind. Frizzell was the only chaser. And as a result, it was an easy catch for Blake Green. Here's Munster to work it away.
Yeah, just a little, either too shallow or too deep, that one. It was a little of in between from Benji Marshall, and it gave Green the opportunity to clean it up.
trying to protect this streak with 11 consecutive round 1 victories in a row. Reminding you, if you need reminding, the Dragons haven't won in Melbourne since 1999. Kick. Go down to Nightingale. Certainly the ground seems a little bit slippery. Is there a dew that's descended in the last 5 minutes?
Well, there certainly wasn't early. It was dry and fast. As we said, perfect conditions, but that's an error that they didn't need.
Scrum clock's on. Gather in. Clock's on.
This time pass from dummy half as they were working the ball out.
We're all here, boys.
Hard to work out.
Head in, Cameron, head in.
That wasn't full.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Here's Chambers going down the right edge. Now Tonomapia. Melbourne getting some breaks. 10 minutes of this second half. Smith comes to Cronk at the line. Slater finds Green. Harris, well read by Dugan. Body in front of him, but then Harris gets the ball away. Munster off Green, gives it to Corabetti. He stands with it. Eventually he'll play it quickly. Cameron Smith ducks down the short side, nothing doing there. A strong tackle made by Josh Dugan, and the Queensland and Australian captain. Here's Green, goes out to the right-hand side. Cron, Chambers has got them struggling. Matthews got there to make a tackle. Chambers pass intercepted just by the Dragons. It was Nightingale who came up with it.
Well, he went to pass it to young Tonomapia, but Tonomapia was a yard in front of him. He then had to step off his right foot and go for the line himself. By the time he tried to push it out, there was plenty of Dragons there, and they were able to come up with the ball. But a chance blown. Great set piece again from Melbourne. The big right-hand shift. An opportunity missed.
Dragons just had to hang on right there, and they did. DeBellin plays it. Here's Rain. Ben Cray has waited a long time to come off the bench. Gets a chance now after 50 minutes. Marshall to the line. Kicking over the head of Corabetti, who was going backwards on his heels for a moment. It looked awkward, but luckily he decided that I don't want any part of that. It'll be Melbourne who get the scrum feed at their own 10.
Well, after a couple of curious calls that gave the Melbourne Storm the ball in the Dragons' half, he looked to pass and he had Jason Nightingale backpedaling, but Tonomapia was just put himself offside. That's why Chambers stepped off the right and straightened.
Ben down. Ben,
get your head in.
Couple of seconds remaining on the clock there, the maximum time limit for the scrums. Of course, 35 seconds, 30 seconds for goal line dropouts. Trying to hold it up in the back row there to get the Dragons offside. It almost worked as McLean plays it. Here's Christian Welch. Getting a chance midway through this second half as both coaches use the last of their changes. In fact, the Dragons still have Silva Havili, who is out there now. Benamis Louis, in fact, not Havili making the tackle. So Havili's still fresh on the Dragons bench. Green going to Harris. Good hands there. Munster puts a kick in. He had Corabetti on his outside, and perhaps a draw and pass might have been the better option.
Well, he might have been too quick to kick that. He was running out of room, and Corabetti was right on the sideline with Dragons pushing hard in defence. He put a good one. Yeah. He's thinking like we are, that probably the kick wasn't the option that Cameron Munster should have taken.
You can't crowd him.
Craig's commentary though was a little bit
crowd him
different.
in.
2 hours. The Dragons get a penalty. And they've done well Under some pressure in the last couple of possessions to hang on, stay within 8. See what they can offer as they come down the field here.
He's 10.
Had success early on with Widdop and Marshall combining. Vale scoring their first try of the game. And Benji Marshall, again a combination with Widdop. Led to a try where he forced his way over in the 15th minute, but it's been all Melbourne from that point on. Rain goes to Louis. They'll play it here just outside the 30. Marshall with Frizzell on his hip. Widdop out the back. Dugan though, easily picked off there by Cameron Munster, who's been strong on his left-hand side. Widdop finds Marshall. Matthews running the decoy. Third man. Familiar role out wide, the edges of the back line, but nothing doing there as he's stopped by Proctor and McLean. They've got one more tackle. Marshall puts it in the air. A well-weighted kick. Dugan coming through. Corabetti put it down. And winning the race, Tyson Frizzell looks to have scored for the Dragons.
Mate, we're back to tackle 1. I have a try. Can we review grounding, please?
We had problems in the first half, Corabetti, but got away with them.
onside when you're running through to the contest.
Players being cleared onside.
That has already
So
happened.
we see the ball's knocked backwards by Melbourne.
The put down looks okay as well.
So we need to make sure there's no interference by the Dragons when pursuing the ball. Okay, camera 6 in the bottom right shows that there is no interference by the Dragons. Camera 6 in the bottom right has a grounding. Have a decision going to the board.
It's all clear.
It's good. It's good, and it should have been. He spoke and had a look at the interference, but it was nearly a hand on the shoulder of Corabetti. We had a number of high balls dropped in the first half. Corabetti racing in after the Marshall bomb. Just overcooked things a bit. Leapt. Came off his shoulder, and Frizzell wins the race to it ahead of Cameron Munster. The Dragons have done a terrific job and could have quite easily been out of this game in the opening 15 minutes. That's their first real crack at the Melbourne Storm line in the second half.
They're the laws, but that's the way they've ruled it. Well, I've explained it.
I think it's a bit different, Cameron.
Yeah, you couldn't take that one away.
He didn't.
From the Dragons.
No, he did not alter the momentum of Corabetti. Corabetti did not stop because of the hand of Tyson Frizzell. I've got no problems with that right hand just resting on the shoulder of Corabetti.
It's all good. Gareth Widdop trying to make it a 2-point game. Strikes it off the upright. It sneaks in. There's a cheeky smile. 18-16 off the bomb by Benji Marshall.
Cameron Munster. Big job.
Cameron Smith.
Someone's back. That's
Doing the toss.
Mate, I sent it to video.
which is line to the ball.
I'll send it to the bunker to review.
I understand that, but
Okay.
isn't that the rules? You're not allowed to
They're the
compete
laws.
with your hand and push.
They're the laws, but that's the way they've ruled it.
Billy Slater got penalised.
Well, I've explained it.
He got no joy. Let's go downstairs to Braith.
Yeah, I believe that was a try for the Dragons. A lucky one at that. The concerns for me for the Dragons is their attack. They've only broken the Melbourne Storm line on 2 occasions. They look to be lacking cohesion. I can't really see the combinations working too well, in particularly between the halves and also on this right-hand edge. So they've got to come up with some more set pieces or come up with some second phase play, because at the moment they just don't want to break the line.
Well, Russell Packer is back out there, and for the first time in the game, Silva Havili from the Warriors, who played 8 games in the NRL last season, was impressive in a losing effort in the Charity Shield against the Rabbitohs at ANZ Stadium. His defence in particular very strong through the middle of the field. Russell Packer taken the ground there, a second effort. Should have been a penalty against Christian Welch. Here's Widdop putting it in the air. Slater coming forward, makes a good catch. And while the rest of the back three have had their issues tonight, Corabetti, Tonomapia, who has the ball now, and likewise on the other side of the coin, the Dragons have had problems under the bombs. Slater, as you'd expect, has been very good. Munster, as we approach the midpoint of this second half, goes to Tohu Harris. Smith ducking out, goes to Kenny Bromwich. He's got some footwork at the line, hasn't he? Gareth Widdop, but his hands full right there. Cronk will kick it in behind them. Slater went into a roadblock. The contact was okay. It looks like, according to the referees, Jack de Belin just held his ground, and then in the background, quite a chat between Jack de Belin and Billy Slater. The referee said it was all good.
I was watching the ball. I didn't see the collision between the two, whether de Belin altered his line.
Laffey playing. Reveal. Goes to Ben Cray. Dumps it out the back. A chance taken there. Play-on's the call. There was a pause between the referees, and in the end they say 0 tackle, 6 more for the Dragons. Now there's a whistle.
We have a double knock-on. We have a double knock-on. St George feed. Okay, it's a double knock-on. Melbourne first, then St George. St George ball.
And the Storm fans went up as one as they saw the knock-on motion. But
Time's still off.
in the moment they'll realise it's a Dragons feed.
I didn't say you did.
Well, Benny Cray just thumps it forward and looks out the back.
Let's play on to that point. Packer picked it up.
Where's the double knock on? Well, are they saying, because Cameron Smith was the one that batted the ball sideways. So that's the only one they can say that was a knock on. Oh, Benji, fingertips.
Good catch, a poor pass out in front of him. He's been sharp tonight, Benji. Looks fit. He's playing for a contract. He's got every reason in the world to be at the peak of his powers. He's made an impressive opening. Here he is. Going to Packer. Send the front rower to the 35-metre line. Havili comes back to Marshall. Nice ball to Frizzell, who got away from Green. Munster wraps him up. Threatened to crack them right there. Marshall again getting plenty of touches. Finds Widdop. Goes across to Laffey. Chambers is so good defensively. Great lateral mover. He did well there against Laffey. Nightingale comes back to Widdop. They'll kick it across the field to put some pressure once again on Munster and Corabetti. Dugan taps it backwards. Comes back to Marshall. He gave it to Kurt Mann. Mann wasn't ready for it.
The man wasn't looking. Benji realised that he was going nowhere and had a line of defence. Just thought he'd go and put on an inside ball. But the Dragons...
Well, the ball goes to ground behind Christian Welch. Boy, both teams losing their way a little bit at times. Melbourne especially here under pressure to work out of their own 20. 3 plays gone. Really racing across to make a stop on Blake Green. Here's Welch. Playing down the short side. Comes to Cray and also Packer. They've got one more. They've done well to bring it back to the 40. Cronk's kick, not a deep one. It'll bounce down. They'll wait for it an age, as it turns out. Nightingale takes it. Gives man a breather for the moment. He's lost it. Could have been ruled to have come forward off the Melbourne Storm player, but it's play on. Fired out of the contest there.
Well, Dugan got a bit of free space. We haven't seen him really wind up. We just haven't been given any quality ball and the chance to beat a defender, which we know is the real strength of his game. But there was some light in that last set where Marshall combined with Frizzell. You'd like to see them go at Blake Green a little bit more.
Well, DeBellin putting a ball on here for Ben Craig. Plenty of jumpers, purple ones in his face. Not the pass that Paul McGregor obviously was looking for there, and DeBellin admonished himself and realised that wasn't the play.
Right, Jason.
Yeah, hands on his head. Nightingale
This one.
is good to go.
Gathering Jack, let's go.
Right, let's bring it together. Let's bring it in.
Lock him in, cut. Tim, just
Pack
wait.
it in.
Just wait for him.
Get in here, Cameron.
The clock wasn't running while they gave Jason Nightingale some time to get reshod. He's okay. Slightly longer breather was in both packs as they waited for that scrum. 63.5 gone. Melbourne by 2.
There's your mark, Rusty, get out of his face.
They get a chance to make it more off the back of this penalty.
He's a hard man to put down, Cameron Munster, and we came to realise just how strong he was last year when he's playing fullback. Tipped the Dragons' enthusiasm just over the lip a bit.
Harris to play it, 25 out. Smith goes to Cronkite, front of that right hand side. The ball from Bromwich to Felice Kafusi, who is fresh on the field. They turn it over on play number 2. They were so flat. They were determined. That was the play they were going with. Bromwich almost didn't even look at Kafusi.
Yeah, both teams guilty of just pushing the pass when not necessary. And you're right. They've both just gone through training runs where the pass was on, but the defence wasn't in their face. Neither pass from DeBellin or the Melbourne Storm was on.
Widdop rounded up by Welch. A chance wasted by the Storm. Here's Craig. Standing. The veteran, so hard to get to ground. He's off contract in 2016. Wait to see whether this is the swan song. Marshall puts it up. Slater underneath it. Coming through Dugan. He was weaving between the traffic. Didn't get a clean run by any stretch. And in the end, Slater, an unencumbered path to the ball.
Well, we're inside the final 15, and the zip's gone out of both sides. They're looking for something from their interchange players because both sides look out on their feet. Neither offering much with the football. Mistakes are coming.
Bromwich back to what he does best. Taking it forward, looking for an offload after contact. Cronk's ball to Smith is only barely flat. And now Harris, keep it going. Munster runs towards Marshall. He closes the gap between himself and also Dugan. Last tackle here for Melbourne. It'll go back to Green, who puts it high in the air. Pressure here on Nightingale coming across, makes a good catch in front of the uprights. Oh, then gives the ball to Widdop. It was almost a hospital pass. Tonamapia coming through. Had a crack at Widdop, and then Finucane gives away a penalty. And they have the Dragons struggling.
Well, that's as dumb as they get, that penalty. Dale Finucane. Here's the pass out to Widdop. Tonamapia was all over him. Nightingale did a good job to clean up the high kick, but he regrets the pass. Got away with it.
Hold for the kick. Wait for it. Right here, Jordan.
Listen, I'm out. Great first stint. Went for over 100 metres before getting a break. Back out there at the deck to see if he goes from here until stumps. Packer playing it. Severely. Gives it to DeBellin. Good footwork to get away from McLean before he bumped off the tackle of Finucane and also Smith. Little show. Going to go to the right-hand side. Silva Havili running for 20 metres. Taking them down within sight of the Melbourne line. Here's Marshall. Play number 5. Frizzell runs the deep ball. Would have been at the back. Dugan, though, as a result, the slide towards the corner didn't have anywhere to go. They've got one more. Aitken will give it to Widdop. An ad hoc kick in behind Slater. It's a good one from Gareth Widdop.
Way to go.
And then DeBellin coming through, looking for a square up on Billy Slater. Gave him a little bit of a nudge.
Yeah, they've had a little running battle, those two, DeBellin and Slater, throughout the evening. The Dragons forced their first dropout since back-to-back dropouts that produced one of the Dragon tries. Let's see if they can grab an opportunity here to hit the front.
See who gets the last say in DeBellin v Slater. The Dragons have got a say right here, though. 30 metres out. Goal line dropout force, the third of the night. As we said earlier, these two teams, the best in the business at forcing dropouts.
Go back to line to tackle 2.
Packer being moved back towards the 20-metre line. Would have easily been a penalty potentially, but Cameron Smith hanging on too long. Matthews playing it, Reveal, giving it to DeBellin. He wasn't expecting it, and as a result, they almost turn it over. Touched by Melbourne. Oh!
No, we're going to knock on St George.
They're going to say it's a knock on against DeBellin.
Scrum clock's on.
You serious?
This will be interesting. Didn't look like it live. Referees are right there, though. Let's take a look at this one again.
Here we are, boys. The clock's on.
He backs into the Kafusi tackle. No way was that a knock on. Not on your life.
6. Come on, you get in. Let's go. 6 in. Down we go.
They've had some tough calls in this second half, and that one is up there with them. Melbourne, another big break. Under pressure, 10 metres out from their line. For Nukin to play it.
Arms around his body.
Gets worse.
You've got to give him room. Same as
It
down
just
there.
gets tougher. Not going to argue with the penalty, but that was on the back of what I thought was a toughie against the Dragons.
Both teams have got a lack of composure, as you mentioned. Attack inside the opposing 20 in the last 10 or so minutes of this one. First game of the season. They're feeling the pinch. Both squads, you can well imagine. Here's for Nukin to play it to Smith. All the forwards pushing up. Bromwich is there. We had McLean. He's outside as well. The pass almost came backwards. Missed the referee. Slater picks it up. It's grabbed. Quick fire by Russell Packer. Smith out of dummy half. Goes to Cronk under pressure there from Widdop. There are some brain fades happening at the moment.
Widdop saw the ball coming to Cronk, shut him down smartly.
Here's Chambers towards Laffey. Laffey ripping at the ball, but Chambers will play it inside the Dragons 20. Here's Cronk kicking towards the corner. Not a great one. Munster goes up for it, gives it backwards. Still the last. Bromwich fires it to Corabetti. As good an option as any out there. He finds Munster. He slips over. As a triple looks and a toe loop, and then puts a kick in for Kurt Mann to bring it back for the Dragons.
Not the script, but Cameron Munster has probably done more kicking than he'd like to in this second half. You can't blame him for that one. He got it in an awkward situation.
Craig needs a walk. He might need a tablet under the tongue. The way things are going. It's good to be back at the footy, Brandy. It's the best show in town, especially when you're at Amy Park. The Storm aren't doing what their coach would like. He's blowing up. You could sell tickets for thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, to get a seat inside the Storm coach's box during a game. I'd pay. Here's Slater. He'll play it just outside the 10. Tonamapia Good tackle again by Widdop. He is providing some line speed on that left-hand side. Chambers. Good run right there. They needed something.
Oh, he's
Crowding.
Second one in a row for getting too close to the man
Same as Cameron down there.
trying to play the ball.
I thought he just made an error there, Will Chambers. The referees have lent the way of the Melbourne Storm. Couple of big tackles there. Wow. I know it looks worse on replay. It's hard to call live, and they make a judgment call as it happens. But on replay, that was no penalty to the Melbourne Storm. That was just a cold drop from Chambers, which I thought it was live.
They've had a bit of rub of the green tonight. 9-4 the penalties to the Storm at the moment. Glasby, good carry. Will play in midfield, 30 metres out. Not a great play, the ball. Play on, Smith. Go to Green. Got through the tackle of Rain. Comes to Kurt Mann. He stops him with the help of Widdop. 3 plays gone. Back to the uprights. Bromwich standing, looking to do what they did when his brother Kenny scored. He was there again, just couldn't get the ball free. Here's Smith, bypasses Kafusi. To the ground it goes. Slater picks it up against a staggered defensive line. He tried to hurdle Havili. Couldn't do so. Did he hurt himself? No, he's okay. Smith goes to Green. Rubbering in behind them. A clean bowled Ewan. Dugan saves the day.
Well, Dugan was under pressure there after the ball just skipped through the legs of Ewan Aitken, who's back in the centres again defending. But Blake Green, just when you think the men on his outside are more dangerous, he can do that. He can throw the dummy and slip through. Gets a horrid bounce, Ewan Aitken. And as Cameron Munster arrives, Dugan knocks it dead.
Dropouts, bounce on the 40. Slater gives it to Finucane, who slipped over before he came charging back at them. Just inside the 30. 5.5 left. Melbourne by 2. As Glasby will play it in front of the uprights. Smith heads out towards Cronk. Players in motion. Slater was one of them. Kafusi. He's strong. He certainly adds some spark when he comes on. Plays it there 5 metres out. Cronk goes underneath for Glasby once again. His carries have been good. The Dragons desperately trying to hang on. First man play for Finucane. Nothing doing there. 3 of them involved in the tackle. Melbourne have 2 more. Here's Cronk out the back. He goes to the line. Marshall wraps him up. 7 on 7. And that was the last. We had it as 1 more remaining. The referees said that was the last. They ran it for no result.
Yeah, strange play from Cooper Cronk. He's very dangerous on the other side of the field, but I mean, he can use that right foot step. He's made a habit of scoring tries close to the line, but he was just heading across the field there, and the Dragons had no trouble wrapping him up. They hang on gamely, the Dragons.
Here is Packer. Rolling it forward. Still plenty of time for St George Illawarra, especially given the history between these 2 teams. Melbourne 1-1 after the bell here 2 years ago. It was a heartbreaker for the Dragons. Marshall, what a ball for Mann. Goes to Slater. Slater cuts him down. Fullback on fullback. Master and apprentice. Here's Marshall standing. Last play. Havili's got it. Widdop goes wide. It comes to Laffey. He puts a kick in. Back towards the uprights. It sits up. Pressure on Munster. He's taking no chances.
Oh, he had to play it at Cameron Munster. What a finish this sets up. Terrific little play from the Dragons. It's the Smith-Cronk-Slater play on the Melbourne Storm. Beautiful. Cameron Kurt Mann back on the inside with a no-look inside ball from Benji Marshall. Tim Laffey, we've seen some results throughout the first round with kicks back into the centre of the field. Cameron Munster must have been in two minds about allowing that to bounce again and go dead.
Marshall, that beautiful ball back on the inside. Taking a leaf out of the Cooper Cronk playbook right there. Avila heads towards the uprights. A chance perhaps to return the favour from 2 years ago and snatch one at the death. Packer running it. Slater up in the front line. Got some help from Finucane and also Glasby. 3 tackles gone. Here's Marshall. Goes out the back. Dugan with nothing happening. Circles away from the sideline. Aitken at dummy half. Goes to Marshall. Will go flat. Avili. Marshall on the wraparound. Will head up there to make it a tandem effort. Half-back and 5/8 both on the left-hand side. On the last tackle, Rain instead comes back to the right-hand side. Dugan lunging desperately. It looked like the ball beat everybody over the dead ball line.
No try. Can we confirm that the ball touches dead ball line?
Well, this time they did take the odds to it going dead. Mitch Rain had...
to the onside, we're now going through to a possible grounding.
Numbers to the left. Rain kicks right.
You can see it just beat the outstretched arm of Josh Dugan.
Looking at camera 6 in the bottom right.
You've got a hand on the ball,
and
but
we have the ball over the dead ball line.
He's just over the line. As close as that.
Wow, I didn't realise it was that close.
Okay. Time's still off. Time's still off.
Nothing wrong with the grounding. It was only a few inches that beat him.
Hindsight's always 20/20, but Mitch Rain with Marshall and Widdop out there on the left, set for a last play option, comes back to the right and puts a kick in. He's gone close.
But that's not good enough. Close isn't good enough in that situation. If you're going to take the risk and take the punt to go on your own and produce something, you need to.
90 seconds remaining. Melbourne with a punch it away and then kick for field position. Smith. Tolhu Harris. We'll play it here just in the Dragons territory. They're bunched at the back of the play the ball. There's no secret as to what they're going to do. Just hit up after hit up and then let Cooper Cronk perhaps take it out of play. Here's Green running a long way. Benji Marshall, strong defence there again. What a game he's had.
He's looked great in the second half, Bees.
Last play, Cameron Smith will just grubber it into touch.
You taking a Grant?
Yep,
50 seconds remaining.
Scrum clock's on.
And the Storm will use up every second available to them. 35.
Stay
In
down,
fact,
boys.
with the
That's
Storm,
the game clock off. The scrum clock continues to run. Boys, the scrum clock is still on. We've got to go. Come in.
Gonna pack it in. Shot clock still
Not like
going.
last year,
Still
boys.
going, boys.
the only problem is, on the big screen here in the stadium, there is no clock ticking to show the Storm exactly how few seconds they have remaining. There it was. They had 10 seconds on our scoreboard, but in the stadium, there was nothing for them to indicate how long they had, despite the game clock being stopped. 30 remaining. The Dragons have to go 70 plus. They might have 2 plays maximum. Here is Leeson Armel. It might be one last throw of the dice here. Rain goes to Havili. Widdop's out the back. Frizzell is there. He wasn't ready for it. He was running a line but not expecting the ball. And the streak continues. Melbourne will make it 12 in a row in round 1. And the curse continues for the Dragons, who haven't won in Melbourne since 1999.